Tonight on Joy News Prime, Minister of Defense vows the military will continue to rid the country's water bodies of equipment used for illegal mining, warning the task force will not spare anyone.
Some of the illegal miners have decided to resort to mining in the night. We now know and will go after you.
One of the affected companies owned by the national women's organizer of the governing NPP has meanwhile had her equipment set ablaze again.
About 9 to 10 machines they went at our site. We have about 150 pumping machines here. They've bent, or not only that, the biggest pumping machine that we used to irritate for the washing of the gold, they've bent that one too.
National Commission for Civic Education joins condemnation of alleged brutality of journalists in recent times and calls for the cessation of all such abuses. Ghana Health Service begins rollout of second doses of COVID-19 vaccines expected to reach some 360,000 people.
It should be taken serious. It's something that I feel that it's our duty to protect ourselves and protect other people's lives too.
The service, meanwhile, says the country was spared another spike in COVID-19 cases this Easter due to the tightening of restrictions. In business, President Akufo-Addo secures 170 million euros for National Development Bank. Father of 14-year-old student believed to have committed suicide in a school's dining hall at Bakunyaba suspects foul play.
Those say that he has committed suicide is neither here nor there. I don't believe it. And from there, we did not cite any letter indicating that he herself has wrote any letter.
My name is Israel and Joy News Prime is coming to you live from our Founder Fast Studios at Kokomlemle here in Accra on your digital terrestrial TV, because we're free to air, and also on DSTV channel 421 and GoTV channel 144. This is the home of independent, fearless, credible and impactful journalism. Do stay tuned in. Government has today made it clear it is bent on ensuring the country's water bodies are restored at all costs. Despite agitations, the burning of excavators and other mining equipment flies in the face of the law. Updating the nation on the progress of the Operation Halt campaign aimed at ridding the country's water bodies of all forms of mining, Defense Minister Dominic Nito said the task force will go after all mining companies whose activities pose a threat. Already, over 200 mining equipment have been burnt and destroyed despite widespread criticism and threats of legal action. At least one of the affected mining companies, Extra Gold, owned by the National Women's Organizer of the governing NPP, has petitioned the Lands and Natural Resources Minister over the destruction of its equipment. But Mr. Nito told journalists at the news conference Wednesday the case of Extra Gold is not peculiar.
They mostly use these machines to divert the river course to the illegal mining sites for the illegalities. It's a big problem in Eastern region, the River Brim. Huge problem. Unlike the Central and Ashanti region, the illegal miners in the Eastern region do not withdraw their mining equipment into hideouts and nearby communities upon hearing the military presence. I don't know what they thought. It could mean they were carrying out illegal activities with impunity. So the difference is that the big companies in Eastern region are those who were doing the wrong thing. And so they said, we have a license. Yes, we have mining lease. So for us, they will not touch us. But what they did not know is that we're not touching the licenses. It's the illegality we're touching. Our target was the illegality. Our target was protecting water bodies and its tributaries, not your license. Yes, you can have a license. But if you are destroying the river bodies, the soldiers were supposed to make sure that they take out the equipment you are using. So the soldiers were not out to inspect licenses. For example, Ghana Water Resource gave a license to a company called Kibi Goldfields to draw water from the river. This is a government agency that gave a license, and they produced the document. Oh, we have a permission to take water and pollute the river, because they gave us this license to do that. But the soldiers said, no, our orders is to ensure that anybody polluting the river body, yes, you are a big company, we know that, but you've diverted the water, and there's a video to it. You diverted the water, and you are polluting the river body. So they banned those equipment. So when a company called Extra Gold came out and said they were the only people they banned, big company they banned, it's not true. There's a company called Ghana Gold, Kibi Gold Fields Limited. They destroyed their equipment as well. Maybe because they don't have political voice, they were not making noise. But they destroyed their equipment as well, because they were doing the wrong things.
The minister also cautioned illegal miners operating at night, saying their safety cannot be guaranteed if the Operation Halt Task Force encounters them.
And these are kilometers upon kilometers. It's not like some meters. These are kilometers upon kilometers of destruction. And I wonder why the communities are allowing them to do that. Maybe because they're holding guns and threatening them. So the communities cannot talk. But if you have a town like what you are seeing there, and you have this destruction surrounding the entire town, where do you expect the people to get food to eat? Ladies and gentlemen, we've also observed that some of the illegal miners have decided to resort to mining in the night. We now know and will go after you. So they go midnight and go and do champagne activities and run back during the day. And we know that they do that from 9 to 4. That's how brave they are. We know, and we know the towns that you are doing. So we'll come after you. Don't try it. And in the night, for the safety of the soldiers, I cannot guarantee your own safety. No soldier will go out in the night without trying to protect himself. So if you go out there to mine, I cannot guarantee you your own safety when the soldiers are going to apprehend you. So I will advise you, don't go out. It's not worth it. That person who is sending you should go and do the mining. You should ask him to send his children with you first. You should go with his children. You want to go and do the mining with his own kids, so don't go. I would advise you.
My colleague Percy Parker Wilson was at the news conference and joins me on via Zoom with more. Now, the Minister for Lands and Natural Resources, Samuel Abu-Jinapor, has also been responding to claims by Extra Gold Company Limited that the ministry renewed its permits for exploration. What exactly did he say? Hello, Parker. How exactly did the Minister for Lands and Natural Resources respond to the claims by Extra Gold? Right, we appear to be having some challenges with the connection to Parker there, but let's listen to what the minister had to say.
The permits, they've shown to me, at least, what I have seen from the officials, and which is the basis for which we are being questioned. One is the mining operating permit. That is not a mining lease. That is not a mining license. That is not a grant of a mining license. It's not the extension of a mining license. That can only be done by the minister. The grant of a lease or extension of a lease can be done by the minister. One is also a permit for exploration. That also is not a mining lease, it's not a mining license. My understanding is that, and I've looked at the law, section 14 of Act 703 says, when a company has a mining lease and before the expiration of the lease, the company makes an application. When the lease expires, the Minerals Commission has a mandate to grant a temporary mining operating permit pending the determination of the application for the extension by the minister. But I must also be very quick to add that these are decisions taken by the Minerals Commission and its officials. These are discretion exercised by the Minerals Commission and its officials, which on the face of it will seem to be within the four corners of the law and the four corners of their mandate. They didn't have to consult me on that because that's not how it works. The circumstances under which the permits were issued and whether or not the discretion was exercised reasonably, justifiably, correctly, so on and so forth. As I said, the ministry is investigating that. The outcome of it will be made to all of us, will be made known to all of us.
In a related development, more equipment at the mining site of Extra Gold in the eastern region have been burnt. The latest destruction comes barely 2 days after 20 excavators and several mining equipment were set ablaze by the government's anti-galamsey task force. There's more in this report.
This time, the military task force raided her site at Paming, set fire into 2 bulldozers, 150 water pumping machines, and other machinery. The secretary to KGM4's mining firm, Nana Asante Yeboah, revealed that the military task force stormed the premises on Monday afternoon, carry out the exercise.
We were, because of what they did last 3 days, so we were out at home when we had a call that they came again. So we rushed to the place, and unfortunately, the machines that they couldn't, it couldn't well bend, were rebent today, that yesterday. So we were asking ourselves that, you came last 3 days, you did the operation and you went away. Still, they came yesterday and have our 2 machines rebent. So so far they've bent about 9 to 10 machines. They've bent at our site. We have about 150 pumping machines here. They've bent, or not only that, the biggest pumping machine that we used to irritate for the washing of the gold, they've bent that one too. So it is about 3 of them, and the small ones are over 150 that they've bent so far. These here are very costly, especially the excavators and the dozan. One cost around $120,000, which is equivalent to maybe 24 billion cedis. So if this thing happens, it affects. We have employed about 100 people here who work at this place. So in case this thing happens and the work stand at a halt, you can know the number of people who are going to be affected by this situation. We are doing a perfect job, and we are being coached by so many people here. The EPA comes here, the NADMO comes here, and the police. So many people come here for inspection, and there is nothing wrong with our work.
The government's decision to clamp down on illegal mining is being intensified as a military chopper was spotted patrolling the mining site on the NPP's women's organizer for over an hour when Joy News' team visited the site today. Even though no one could tell the reason for their presence, Nana Asante Yeboah believes the team came there to ascertain the level of damage caused to the mining equipment after they petitioned the Land and Natural Resources Minister.
Yeah, they came here. People were in tears. Some of them were in tears because they were young guys who are coming up with businesses. So they are real worried. The other guy came here, the bend was on there. We rented it from a guy from Kwabing. Yeah, he was even crying. We had contractors to make our road for us. So in case we do something wrong and you want to punish us, you just take the machine to the contractors. At least Ghana will benefit from it. But to the extent of burning it, it's uncalled for. I took you to the water body, I took you to the site. We will fill after any concession that we dig, we will fill it back. Then we plant something on it so that the landowners will get their land back. Because we went to the landowners, we negotiated with them, then we paid them before we start doing our work. So it's not like we are doing something illegal. It is legally a registered company which entrusted us to work here.
At least 20 excavators and several mining equipment were set on fire by the military task force set up by government to crack down on illegal mining in the eastern region. 8 out of the number of excavators and 1 bulldozer destroyed allegedly belonged to the National Women's Organizer of the ruling New Patriotic Party, Kate Jemfoa. The task force on Sunday raided some mining sites in Labikrom, Dumpim and Paming, all in the Tiwa district.
Family of the 11-year-old Ishmael Mensah, who was allegedly killed by 2 teenagers supposedly for money rituals at Krasa Lamte, have expressed disappointment at the snail pace of the case at the Ofako Circuit Court. The family is also disappointed the advice for the AG's office is not ready after the dockets were forwarded to them for advice on the matter. Presiding judge of the Wutu Ofako Court was also not in court for Wednesday's session, and the case has been adjourned to next month.
In that the last time we came, we were told that dockets were sent, duplicates of course, were sent to the Attorney General's Department for advice. And so the expectation of the family is that, or was that today we're going to get that advice and we will get to know when exactly the real trial of this particular case will commence. So unfortunately, it turned out that the judge was not around today, so the case could not be heard. And as of today, it appears from the police, the advice from the Attorney General is not available. And so the case has been adjourned to the 2nd of June, by which time we are hoping that the advice from the Attorney General's department may be available. So that's what transpired today.
Okay. Are you happy with proceedings? How
We
things are
cannot be
changing
happy
now?
as a family that is looking for expeditious trial, as a family that has always been calling for a finality of this case so that we can focus on other aspects of life. Obviously, we cannot be happy, but we understand that the rule of law or the wheels of justice grind slowly and they will get to their destination. But as early as possible, that finality is brought, we will be happy as a family. But in the meantime, we are not happy that there is a snail-paced approach to this case.
Counsel for the accused, Samuel Ichia, says the bail application for the two teenagers will be filed at the High Court in Accra, and is hopeful the teenagers will be released at the next court sitting. He believes the delay from the AG's office is because it is understaffed. The case has been adjourned to June 2, 2021.
Court no Antonas and the judge named Miyamba, and you know the two assemble Asheta. IBC on the 2nd.
The judge was unable to come to court today, so the case has been postponed to next month.
Yes. And the credit no on for their Attorney General. Nadia now cost delay advice on my the Attorney General. No.
The dockets have been forwarded to the Attorney General. The Attorney General's office is understaffed, but I know the advice will come early.
Now we know me will give you why resume said Yana or mine in any DH. Ne Attorney General Casacre need DH. It's advice in the Bantama. I'm yet to me at as a media.
Father of the JHS student at Bakuniaba, a suburb of Sunyani in the Bunu region, believed to have committed suicide on Monday, says he suspects foul play in his daughter's death. 14-year-old Letitia Tre Pinamang of the Miracle Educational Academy was found hanging from the ceiling in the school's dining hall Monday night. A note found at the scene read in part, "This world is full of sorrow and pain and I can't live anymore." A pathologist is scheduled to perform an autopsy to ascertain the cause of death. But Williams Tre, who says his daughter lacked nothing in her life, insists he cannot accept the narrative that his daughter committed suicide.
My wife called me around 8 p.m. So I have to drive through to the place. When I got there, they said the place is corded. So unless police come. So I have to drive back to the police station. And when I got to the police station, they told me that they have dispatched the patrol team to that end. So I followed them. So the incident, where I got there, I saw that my daughter is standing while there's a rope on his neck. That's all. And from there, when they removed the body, we went straight to the hospital, regional hospital. At the regional hospital, we took some pictures and we found out that there is some mark inside his left arm, indicating that something untoward has happened to my daughter. And after the examination of the doctor, we found out that he has not urinated and he has not feces herself rather. Nothing untoward of that sort has happened. And the tongue is intact and the eye is closed. So those saying that he has committed suicide is neither here nor there. I don't believe it. And from there, we did not cited any letter indicating that he herself has wrote any letter indicating that he is on pain. And on the letter, the supposed letter, they are saying that he is on pain and he has some necklace, which they should give that necklace to somebody called Silicon. All these things, my daughter is an Adventist. Even he doesn't wear rings, let alone necklace. So all those things are fabricated. I don't believe whatever they are saying. So we are waiting for the pathologists to do some investigation about that. So we are waiting for that final decision.
Meanwhile, Sunyani Divisional Crime Officer DSP Kingsley Redu says they will explore all scenarios as they wait for the assigned pathologist to perform the autopsy to assist in the investigation.
Which we are going to examine. We are going to send it to forensic lab, police headquarters, for examination for them to compare the handwriting and then handwriting scripts that have been found in her notebooks to determine whether really it was she who wrote that dying declaration. Thereafter, there is going to be a postmortem. We've had a pathologist assigned by Police Hospital Accra to help in pathology work in Sunyane. Cases involving bodies that are one way or the other have some sort of legal implications. He is to examine the body, tell us the cause of death. So tomorrow with this particular instance, I've already had contacts with him. He'll be in town. The family of the deceased have also been notified that tomorrow the doctor will be around. And then we sit down and then we get the postmortem done to help us, because the postmortem will go a long way to confirm whether really there was foul play or there was no foul play. With the pathology report, then we compare the other investigations that we have gathered, and then we'll be able to make a conclusion as to whether she was killed and hanged there or she herself committed a suicide.
Medical laboratory scientists and allied professionals at the Confanoche Teaching Hospital have declared a strike starting Thursday. The local branch of the Ghana Association of Medical Laboratory Scientists is protesting a decision by the hospital's management to post 2 medical officers to the Laboratory Services Directorate. Ohim Interior reports.
The over 300 members of the association comprise laboratory scientists, laboratory technicians and laboratory assistants. They argue professional members of the association who qualify for vacant positions have been sidelined. Members at an emergency meeting on Wednesday resolved to stay off duty.
The outcome from the membership of GAM's KTA chapter is very simple. From tomorrow, Thursday, the 20th of May, we are beginning a sit-down strike where we will come to work, but we will not work. So no patient sample, no sample from anywhere will be worked on in our labs in KTH from tomorrow, Thursday, 20th May, up to next week, Wednesday, 26th of May, 2021.
Local union chairman Ernest Bedu-Boatin tells Joy News the lab professionals are appalled by the stance taken by management of CAT.
The laboratory profession over the years have matured and have grown. And so there are professionals within the laboratory services and within our professional cadre who have been licensed by the Allied Profession Council and are being monitored and their practice controlled by the Allied Profession Council. Same way these medical officers are also being licensed by the MDC, the Medical Data Council, and also have their own professional line of practice. There is no conflict between their line and our line. They are clinicians, we are laboratory. We practice laboratory science, they practice medicine. The two are different by law under Act 857. And so all we are saying is that they should be in their lane. They should practice their medicine and also leave us to practice our medical laboratory science as defined by law that was passed by Parliament in 2013. And so the presence of these people in our lab, what it means is that, what they are telling is that our consultants who are fellows of the West African College of Medical Laboratory Science, who hold their PhDs, who hold their masters, don't have that qualification, or they don't come near the job that these LPs are coming to do. And that we will not agree, because the two professions are different. And where they interrelate is where a doctor will request for a test to be done on a patient. Then the lab will come in and perform that diagnostic test, so the doctor will use the results to treat the patient. It is not the duty of the doctor to come to the lab, request a lab test, come to the lab, run the lab test himself or herself, and now use the result. That is not done. And that is what we are fighting against.
The action of the association is expected to affect diagnosis, investigations and treatment of patients at that teaching hospital. The hospital is also expected to lose revenue if the strike is protracted. But Mr. Bedu-Boatin says members have no option than to resort to the action.
We have laboratory scientists, we have laboratory technicians, we have laboratory assistants, all within our cadre. So all of us are working here, and all of us, we are the ones manning all the labs in KATH. We are the professionals who are running all the tests that patients, when patients come here, they go through before they are given drugs or they are treated. So the impact of this strike, I can tell you, is enormous. Besides that, we are the revenue generating, one of the highest revenue generating directories in Konfanochi. So that I can tell you that even a day, if a day without work, a day without LSD generating money, this hospital will suffer financially. And so the earlier they resolve this matter, the better for even the financial health of this hospital.
Meanwhile, management of CAT has declined commenting on the impasse. From Kumasi, for Joy News, Ohimi Interior reporting.
The government has been urged to integrate its digitalization efforts to allow for seamless interconnectivity between its agencies. Key government institutions, including the Births and Deaths Registry, Ports and Harbours Authority and the Passport Office, have fully digitized their operations. Despite the progress made, IT expert and CEO of 10th Generation Technology Systems, Tony Intiado, says all public agencies must first digitize their operations and be integrated for multiple agencies to work seamlessly within the space.
Different organizations in this country are embarking on small-level automations without thinking of the bigger picture of how it's connected to everything else. If NIA has automated, if Passport has automated, how relevant is their data to Lands Commission, to town planning, to any other government agency? So that you don't do, they don't tell you go here, then you move from there, you go to the other. In between, one click, everything is accessible. Two things happen if we look at the country from that angle. The internal agencies will be financially sustainable. There will not be leakages because then you cannot leak from an online payment. That's number one. No, most importantly, you and I as citizens will reap the ultimate benefits. Many years ago, you would have struggled to get a passport. Today, online, click, 2 weeks, you are in there, maximum a month, your passport is available to you. That is how seamless we want this whole country to look at the conversation of DigiGov. So that it's not looked at only in silos, but we look at it comprehensively, nationwide, countrywide, for all of us to be the winners at the end of the day.
On the ongoing war against illegal mining, Mr. Intiado proposes government take advantage of artificial intelligence to spot and subsequently apprehend those involved in the Heinous Act.
Without traveling out, you can go online and see Ghana from a satellite imagery. Am I right? Anytime anything happens in 2 hour space, technology can tell you where we are seated, right, where we are now. The moment we are out of here in 1 hour, you know those who are not here. The number would have reduced. So regular flying of this country, technology, can tell you from satellite imagery where an illegal mining is ongoing, that it will take you 4 hours to drive and get there. We know the areas of this country where galamsey thrives. Again, with technology, you can easily identify those areas and fight it correctly.
You're watching Joy News Prime. We're taking a break, but still ahead in the bulletin. Ghana Health Service begins rollout of second doses of COVID-19 vaccines, expected to reach some 360,000 people.
It should be taken serious. It's something that I feel that it's our duty to protect ourselves and protect other people's lives too.
Well, says the country was spared another spike in COVID-19 cases this Easter due to the tightening of restrictions. And in business, which comes up right after the break, President Akufo-Addo secures 170 million euros for National Development Bank. Stay tuned in, we'll be back in a bit.
You're welcome to Business. I'm Charles Aiche. The Ministry of Finance and the European Investment Bank has signed an agreement for the provision of a 170 million euro facility for the establishment of a new national bank. the Development Bank Ghana, that's DBG. Now, DBG is an integral feature of the 100 billion cedi Ghana Cares of Bantama project, which is seen to the revitalization of the Ghanaian economy following the onset of COVID-19. The signing ceremony took place when the president held a meeting with the president of the European Investment Bank, Dr. Werner Hoyer, as part of his official visit to Belgium.
We value very much our relationship with the European Union. It's been a very engaging and very productive relationship for our country, and we want to do everything possible to deepen and strengthen that relationship, especially in a world where many things are not as they were before, and it is necessary for all of us to redefine the steps for the future. But in that redefinition, I think it's reassuring to find that there are some partners, some institutions that have been friendly with Ghana that will continue to be friendly with Ghana in this effort, and the European Union, and particularly the bank. The bank has been in Ghana for nearly, almost 50 years now, and has proved to be a very reliable partner of our country. I'm happy that we have been able today to arrive at this ceremony. The bank is going to play a very important part in the rapid economic development of our country. We want to restructure the Ghanaian economy, transform it. It has been a traditional African economy, largely raw material-based exporting economy, and we're looking to be an economy that places much greater emphasis on value addition activities. We see this bank as one that is going to play a pivotal role for us in defining that future.
From that, the Minister for Works and Housing, Francis Asenso, has formally written to some heads of state institutions and colleague ministers, instructing them to begin the implementation of government policy on building with local raw materials. This, he believes, will boost job opportunities for many Ghanaians and also drive down the cost of building in the country. The minister disclosed this to journalists after touring Nelplus Limited, manufacturers of plastic bricks. Here's a report.
Nelplus Ghana Limited will be among many Ghanaian innovators to benefit from the policy of using local materials for construction. The company generates bricks from recycled plastic waste, a process which makes the materials cheaper as compared with the traditional methods of building. Minister for Works and Housing has assured of government support to help bridge the housing gap.
One of the areas that we want to make it an integral part of our affordable housing program. I've had opportunity to engage the Ministry of Education, and in fact I've formally written to the minister, and as a result he has incorporated the use of local bent bricks into the new government schools that is going to be bent. I've done the same with the Minister of Health, so that they also incorporate local bent bricks into the construction of chip compounds and other hospital clinic facilities. So government is committed to making sure that as much as possible we use our local building materials to make construction costs reduce and make it affordable, so that in the long run Ghanaians can also find homes to be affordable and they can buy and live in.
Founder of Nelplus Limited, Nelson Boateng, after taking the minister and delegation on a tour, requested to be given some of the affordable housing units as government support to his business.
For us, what Nelplus is seeking is the government should help us in giving us houses to build. If the government is able to give us even 1,000 houses to build, it will change the state of the company forever. Now we can build for younger Ghanaians and even put them on credit. Our vision is to see every Ghanaian earning between 500 to 1,000 Ghana to also own a house, because the real estate that we have, estate companies that we have, they are mentioning Dallas 200,000 big. We cannot afford. Even me, I cannot afford. So Nelplus want to see every Ghanaian own a house that's earning between 500 to 1,000 to also own a house.
The project is providing employment to more than 300 artisans.
And that'll be it for business for this segment. We're back after 8. In the meantime, sport is up next this day.
The business segment was brought to you by
EcoBank, the Pan-African bank.
Glyco, we cushion you for life.
Many thanks for staying with us. Time to bring you sports. My name is Hans Mensah, and the Multimedia Group has launched its coverage of the Euro 2020. The launch, which was held earlier today, was graced by Chief Operation Officer of the group, Ken Ansah, and he revealed the excitement of the business to bring to the homes of football-loving fans the best of European football this summer.
Sports editor of Multimedia's account cluster, E.K. Wallace, has been underlining the importance of the Euro 2020.
GDP say multimedia when see another opportunity for us to deepen your brand now. You too much in my phone with Sampa. Now, so apart from that, no, so as a central phone, so we Queen Cassia Padmaya. You between Sanchi Via say when you bring an international air program like this to us, and also between us deliver. And I'm for sure him say more of the excitement in between us, of course, within this area. Yeah, the Euro 2020. Bantigari.
Kobna Upon Kroma, country sales manager of Betway, is excited to be part of Euro 2020.
Euros are always exciting. 2012 we had 76 goals. We had 108 goals in the last 2016 Euros, and currently in the Champions League 365 goals so far. The Euros are all about goals, and for us at Betway, for the love of the game, goals are a very exciting thing to have. So that is why we are here. We are here to partner with the Multimedia Group and bring a lot of goals, excitement, and fun to our players on our platform and the new players that will join us as the Euros go along.
And of course, all the action will be live on all the multimedia platforms. Let's do some Ghana Premier League action. And Legon Cities have been declared winners of their Ghana Premier League Match Day 23 games against Ebusian Dwarfs, which ended abruptly. The Ghana FA, in a ruling release today, said Dwarfs initiated acts of violence that led to the cancellation of the game. But Communications Director of Dwarfs, Abeku Otri, tells Joy Sports the fact the FA rely on to award the decision are skewed and they will appeal the ruling.
Well, we're all aware of what has transpired. I mean, some few hours ago with the Ghana Football Association ordering 3 points to be deducted from our accumulated points. And of course, that is all in relation to match of the 23 fixture against the Legon Cities. And the referee, Alpha, they decided not to, finish the game. We stipulated 90, we didn't cover, we only did 45. And I guess it's the reason why, I have a Twitter and I have a head of social media, and we need to fix that as well.
Is Dwarf suggesting that the GFA got it wrong?
Yeah. We feel the appeals committee of the Ghana Football Association got it wrong. The information out there, the latest, with what we've seen is misleading. We are going to appeal the decision of the committee in relation to this matter, and we know that we're going to succeed.
And that's it for this installment. More sports later in the
Becky Bex is here with Showbiz. Hello, Becky.
Hello to you. Wondering how to do it.
Huh? What's that?
I'm supposed to be asking you how you are in Danish. And I didn't get it right.
Take another shot.
Wondering how to do it.
So Google taught you this.
Yes.
Okay, let's get over the show.
All right, so this weekend on the Joy News channel and the Joy Prime channel, we have E-Vibes. Looks like everybody forgot E-Vibes. Please, we still have E-Vibes running. My guest is a Danish musician.
Okay.
So I had a conversation with him, and he tells me that he wants to change the world with his music positively. And so he is on E-Vibes this weekend. Let's listen to Tarek.
My goal is to reach a position where I can influence people of power to do certain things. Not to, it could sound very propagandish, I get that. but more it's in a sense like I would like to reach a certain position where I could influence the minds of people of power. To say if let's say a thing like Akon, right?
Yeah.
Akon is a single man and gave 600 million Africans electricity, you know?
Yes. Yes.
And that in my mind is so absurd. Like, why can one guy do that while people are starving? You know what I mean?
Yes.
And there's so many people out there with so much money. So my plan was, if I could get to a position where I could influence the minds of people that have the opportunity to change things on a large scale, that would be the end goal for me. Or not the end goal, but a goal for me to actually make a change where I could do it with people. Like
E-Vibes went Pan-African or international. Now you've gone global.
Yes, that's the whole idea.
So who are you bringing on next?
The next person I'm actually working on.
Akon.
Well, I had an interview with Akon when he was in Ghana.
But it wasn't an E-Vibes.
It wasn't an E-Vibes. I'm hoping that I'll get Akon. Kanye, will travel to the US next week.
Okay.
But
all the best. But it's possible.
Oh, it is possible.
Yeah, it is possible.
It is possible. I mean, I'm looking at bringing in a lot of these guys. So just watch out. But Kerry, another person that I would want to interview, Kerry Hilsing. She's on Stonebwoy's Angologa Junction album, and Stonebwoy is holding an anniversary for the album, and it's supposed to be a concert. And
is Kerry coming?
So she is saying she didn't know. She said she didn't know that something of that sort is happening, and so she's questioning Stonebwoy why she wasn't invited to the Angologa Junction. So we're saying, I mean, I'm sure that she's just practically saying that if you invite me, I will come this Saturday.
If you had invited,
if you had,
it's
no, but she's
too late now.
No, but she's saying that. Well, explain.
Yeah, you got some explaining
to do, sir. I would have come. So I'm sure if Stonebwoy, gets back to Kerry will come back. But Stonebwoy was on Showbiz A to Z, and he's been explaining exactly what would happen this Saturday.
Careful of who you gonna trust in the day, 'cause in the night you never see them.
So it's limited to that. It's not open to general public like that. So that tells you we will be able to have all the protocols in place. Absolutely.
Okay. Perfect.
And this is just like a recording of the virtual concert. So we're going to stream it.
Okay.
So that's just what it's about.
Interesting. So are there going to be, is it just going to be Stonebwoy, or you're going to have a few other industry colleagues pass through?
The plan is definitely to concentrate on the album.
Okay,
it's
exactly.
A 15-track album, so it's to have that 15-track
album
solid. And it's solid.
But there were a few collaborations on the album. Exactly. So are those going to be passing through?
I think the only Ghana collaboration was our own father, Kojo Entry.
Yeah.
So I know hopefully we're trying to, if time fits
permits
for him,
and it works for him,
have him through. But we've made provisions for all that already. But we will surely not be able to have all the international
acts come through
because towards the latter part of the year, we have the BIM concert and Shaman to the world.
Definitely.
So we're hoping that things die down a little bit for people to be able to actually, move about, so we can have that big event. That's what we're pushing now. So get ready. Just the numbers are there for you to call and come join us. Have that. It's capped. It's very limited, and I can't.
All right.
Stonebwoy there.
Okay, and my favorite from Stonebwoy is still Rango.
Tell me where we're gonna Rango.
Okay, thank you very much, Becky Bex, for bringing us Showbiz. Now let's take a look at the stories on My Joy Online. Dominic Neto challenges Ghanaians to report top government officials involved in illegal mining. Ghana Health Service investigates suspected waterborne disease in Bunbuazio community. Mysterious calabash found in over 70-year-old tree at Tema. Wow. And that'll be it for those of you who are watching on Joy Prime, but there's more news on the Joy News channel. Do stay tuned in. The Ghana Health Service Wednesday began the rollout of the second dose of the AstraZeneca vaccines, expected to reach some 360,000 people. Joy News checks from various centers in Accra showed many enthusiastic people queuing to receive their second jabs. My colleague Kwekwe Santi has been touring some of the centers and files this report.
Long and slow-moving queues at vaccination centers as enthusiastic Ghanaians who have taken their first jab line to take the second dose. Ghana received 350,000 additional doses from the COVAX facility after an initial 600,000 that inoculated the population in the first phase. The vaccine is safe. That is the message those who have taken their first jab are preaching and urging others to take the vaccine when they have the opportunity.
There is nothing to fear about this exercise. This morning when I was on the way coming, even friends stopped me, don't go, you'll die. Oh. No, the first one, no side effect. And then likewise the second one. So I'm appealing to Ghanaians that there is no fear in this. You see, let keep Ghana alive. When we are alive, Ghana will be alive.
I see it as a positive way to protect myself and other people around me. And so it should be taken serious. And it's something that I feel that it's our duty to protect ourselves and protect other people's lives too.
They should be bold and take the vaccine because it's good. It's good for our health. So they should be bold and take the vaccine.
At the Mamobi General Hospital, Ayawaso North Municipal Health Director Sophia Quest says her checks at various vaccination centers showed a smooth process thus far.
So far, so good. It's going on smoothly. And our expectation was that we were expecting people, just a few number, but it's been very encouraging. And we hope that it will continue in the coming days. The schedule says that for those who were vaccinated from 1st to 9th March are due for this second dose. However, there's a message going around giving them a text message as to the exact date they should come for this second dose. So based on the date you are given, you are expected to come for your second dose. So I'm sure they are going just by the date. But in case anybody comes in and may not have received, but then falls within the 1st to the 9th March, we'll go ahead and give it to them. We'll not deny anybody of the vaccine.
Ghana's vaccination efforts are currently ongoing, and today the country has commenced inoculating the population that took its first dose. From today until some time, those who have taken their first jab are eligible to go to the various municipal health centers and vaccination centers they took their first jab and take the second. Government is hoping that by the end of this year it will achieve a certain level of herd immunity. But there are those who have questioned that the current vaccination efforts, the number of people we've been able to vaccinate so far, may make it impossible for the country to be able to achieve that. But so far, the Ghana Health Service is assuring that it is doing all it can to be able to procure enough vaccines to inoculate the population. The Serum Institute of India, the world's largest vaccine manufacturer and the manufacturer of the AstraZeneca vaccines, plans to extend its halt on COVID-19 vaccine exports until the end of the year, in a blow to countries like Ghana, which depends on it to start or continue their vaccination campaigns. But government of Ghana has been assuring it is in touch with other vaccine manufacturers to secure doses for the population.
And Erastus Asaridonko joins me from Kumasi with how the rollout went in that part of the country. Hello, Erastus. So how did it go in Kumasi? Here in Accra, there were a few hitches here and there.
Here it was general. Many places could not start the vaccination due to one, delay in getting materials, i.e. vaccines, the new card with enhanced features. And then there was also a problem with the data system. Those who are taking the first jab, and so they had their data in the system. They were expecting that they could enter the data so that when they mention their names or give their cards, they could check and verify them and approve them for the second vaccine. That wasn't working. And so for KNUST Hospital, for example, some people came as early as 4 a.m. and queued. But then, as at about 10 a.m., they did not have the card with them, and so they couldn't start. The card came in around 4 p.m. 4 p.m. they started, vaccinated about 3 people, and then there was a problem with the data system. They couldn't identify the people, and so they had to stop the whole vaccination process and postpone it to tomorrow. So they are expecting that authorities in Accra will fix the problem with the data so that tomorrow they can start the vaccination.
But do you know, have the health authorities said anything at all as to the hitches that came up?
Well, I have been getting snippets of information from the doctors in charge of the vaccination program at certain centers. And what they are saying is that they went for a workshop, they were trained, they were told that the materials will arrive a day before the vaccination day, but many of the materials started arriving at that same day that they were doing the vaccination. And so there were hitches here and there. The data system they were expecting to work could not work. They've been notified that it's being fixed as we speak. So starting tomorrow morning, they expect that the system will work for people to take their second jab.
All right, thank you very much, Erastus Asare, for bringing us that update from Kumasi in the Ashanti region. Let's get to the COVID-19 dashboard of the Ghana Health Service and see what the status is now. So there are 66 new cases and there are 1,325 active cases as we speak. Confirmed cases now stand at 93,456. A total of 783 deaths, and the recoveries 91,348. Now, the Ghana Health Service is saying, but for the extra effort that went into enforcement of the COVID-19 safety protocols this Easter, the country may have been dealing with another spike in cases. The Director of Public Health, Dr. Franklin Sirubekwe, explains the service had to take a cue from the post-Christmas surge and put in place measures, including the mandatory quarantine of arriving passengers who test positive at the airport to avert a recurrence. Speaking in a webinar organized by MedLab Services Ghana on global best practices for COVID-19 case management, he urged the public not to abandon the protocols to keep the cases low.
If you look at the trajectory of our outbreak since we started, there are two main things that you need to look at. Is where is the infection coming from? And one key factor is the infection comes from outside. So if you look at the later part of December and early January, whereby we had the influx of our friends and our relatives from outside, we also had the introduction of the new variant. Then we had this big surge. So going into Easter, we tried to make sure that we curtailed all such occurrences. So we ensured that we minimize conventions. We actually banned conventions. We also made sure we kept a close eye on people entering the country. In the time past, when you are positive and you are from outside, you are allowed to self-isolate. But we realized that people were abusing that process. So we actually amended our protocol that if you are positive, we put you under mandatory self-isolation. And that one somehow has helped us to curtail the incidence of the disease. And there's a slight improvement in terms of face mask. It's not the best as we would have loved, but still there's a bit of adherence to the protocol.
He maintains that testing at the airport is still effective and helped prevent the importation of new cases.
Less than just a few weeks back, we had surges based on the cases at the airport. But let me say that these are not cases into the country. These are cases that were actually detected at the airport, meaning that our airport testing is effective. So we try to look at, was there any effect of these surges into the numbers? And it has been more than 2 weeks now. We've never seen any appreciable increase in the number of cases. So somehow we are kind of plateaued.
On the efficacy of the vaccines being used in Ghana, a virologist with the Kumasi Center for Collaborative Research, Dr. John Amwesi, explained that though all the vaccines have varying degrees of effectiveness, it is the size of the population a country is able to vaccinate that's more important.
Comparatively, you may say one is more efficacious than the other, but these are again just probabilities or predicted probabilities of infection and illness. And the real impact is when you pool everything together based on how many have been vaccinated. So if you get a couple of people, let's say 10% of your population will be vaccinated with maybe a Pfizer, which is 95% plus efficacious, and then you have say 40% of the population having the Sinovac, which is 50% plus. I'll be happy to have 50% of my population with the Sinovac than have 10% with the Pfizer, ultimately. So you need to look at this beyond the individual and look at it more at the population level, which is really where the difference is made, especially in our part of the world where we do not have the options to choose or to shop for vaccines. Look, we should take whatever we get so long as it is safe enough.
Director of MedLab Services, Dr. Rosemary Keatley, advised that the Ghana Health Service consider testing patients who present with stroke symptoms for COVID-19 as is being done elsewhere.
In the US, thromboembolic diseases were part of the spectrum of COVID, but I'm not sure whether it is registered as some of the symptoms here in Ghana. The doctors and also the population do not seem to be aware of it. There are many young people having strokes, MIs, and the families and the patient themselves are not testing for COVID. Perhaps we can test such cases. They are not being tested for COVID. And maybe we should test deceased bodies, maybe with even the rapid antigen tests.
Residents in the various electoral areas in Accra will have to up their game in ensuring their communities are cleaner as the Accra Metropolitan Assembly launches its sanitation challenge. This challenge, which will assess levels of filth in various electoral areas in Accra, will be scored on a quarterly basis. The AMA says this is part of its efforts to achieve a clean city. Judith Awuchitando has more in the following report.
The project is meant to assess waste management, public health and safety, innovation in environmental sanitation, and community-initiated programs towards improving communal cleanliness. Here is Mayor of Accra, Mohammed Ejai-Soa.
Environmental sanitation is a shared responsibility for city authorities, commuters, residents, businesses, and other stakeholders. The Accra Metropolitan Assembly will be very transparent and candid to all stakeholders in assessing the sanitation situation in the various communities. The challenge, as a citizens' engagement program, is aimed at stimulating and rewarding community participation and ownership of innovative schemes to improve environmental health and sanitation in their respective communities and beyond. The goal is to keep the communities clean and highlight the role of community members in achieving this.
The Assembly has already assessed 20 electoral areas within the first quarter of the year and reveals rather disappointing scores for some communities in the city. Speaking at the launch, Mr. Soa explained the AMA has a lot more to do to attain its goal of a clean city.
The result of the baseline assessment shows that a lot of work is needed in all electoral areas to improve sanitation and reduce public health risk. Electoral areas from the best to the least performing will be engaged to identify and develop actions to improve environmental conditions. Best performing electoral areas will be motivated in kind to undertake activities to improve their environment. Least performing electoral areas would also be engaged to plan and implement activities for improvement. Interventions may include enhanced community engagement, deployment of enforcement of task force, mobilization of community members, including corporate institutions, among others.
The mayor also announced the highest and least scoring electoral areas.
It's important to say that none of the communities or electoral areas attained the excellence mark of between 85 to 100%. And we've been very candid in sharing that results with you. However, within the satisfactory mark, the best performing electoral area within the Accra Metropolitan Assembly is the Awudome electoral area. The Awudome electoral area is within the Awudome Cemetery area. And then the least performing electoral area is the Koledudo electoral area. Koledudo electoral area comprises of Katamanton, Agboblushi Vegetable Market, Agboblushi Township, and its surrounding communities. This is the results as we present to you.
The Accra Metropolitan Assembly says it will also step up its work at enforcing the bylaws on sanitation, while hoping that this challenge will encourage residents to pay more attention to the environment. Judith Awotritando, Joy News.
Well, the National Commission for Civic Education has latest condemned the alleged assault of journalists by the National Security operatives last week. In a statement signed by the chairperson of the commission, Josephine Nkrumah, the commission expressed its disappointment at the behavior of the National Security operatives who were said to have molested City FM journalists Caleb Kuda and Zoe Abu Beidu Ado. My colleague Ernest Menu joins me with excerpts of the NCCE statement. So, Ernest, I want you to walk us through it. What exactly are the issues raised by this NCCE statement?
And so you mentioned the assault on Caleb Kuda and Zoe Abu Beidu, but there's a third, which is the assault on one Peter Tabri, the Western Regional Correspondent for PEN TV, who was allegedly assaulted by the National Security operatives at Asenkrigwa in line of duty. And so the Commission notes that the assault on these journalists is a violation of their rights and also an affront to free speech. Now, they raise issues about the growing sense of insecurity among journalists and media practitioners in general who feel targeted in their line of duties. And they say these incidents, besides hampering the work of the media and the security, is a violation of their right to free speech. Israel, the statement goes on now to talk about solidarizing, that's the NCCE, solidarizing with the Inky fraternity, as they put it, and asking the security agencies to investigate the attacks that have been reported and make sure that the perpetrators are brought to book. The NCCE is saying that the citizenry and also the security agencies must do well to protect the media and practitioners because of the role they play in our democracy, and that if the media is not playing an effective role, the democracy of this country would definitely be affected. And so the NCCA is asking also that the Media Commission, National Media Commission, follows up on the investigation which it has started, and asking that after the investigations are done, the recommendations be implemented, unlike what we've seen in the past, where a lot of these recommendations after investigations, first of all, are not even heard of, and then they are not implemented even if they are made public. And they go on then to talk about the issues of religious tolerance that has been reported in the media in the last few days.
All right, thank you very much, Ernest Menu. Meanwhile, private legal practitioner Martin Pebu has been examining the law setting up the National Security Secretariat. And he says a lot of the things that they do, or the conducts that they do, or actions that they take, frowns or goes against the law.
In 58 of the Commission report, it says that the Commission recommends that the SWAT team of the National Security Council Secretariat should be disbanded and operatives reassigned as appropriate. You go on and on and on, and it's clear from the Commission's report that, look, what is happening there is illegal, because let's quickly go to Act 10:30, and I'm happy you even say citizens should buy and read. I know it cannot. Some will say, "Oh, this is a law; it's technical and the rest." But when you take it and you read, you will find that throughout the law, there are 10:30. That's the Security and Intelligence Agencies Act. You don't find any place where national security is authorized to run a police station itself at the National Security Ministry. There is no such thing. So this is the architecture. What is the business? The main business is that they should organize, they should collect and analyze intelligence about security risks to Ghana, and also help to coordinate the security agencies. You see, and then they will, so the main thing, you see, so when they say organize and then analyze security threats to Ghana, so we would have expected that these guys who went to brutalize Caleb Kude and the rest, but now they would have been embedded in the various Galamsey communities in the Western, Eastern, and Ashanti regions where our water bodies are being polluted. That's where we would have expected them to be, embedded in the community and trying to get to the bottom of this matter. And yet here they are brutalizing citizens in Accra. It's as if there's no work for them. So where they need to deploy arms, they need to deploy boots on the ground and the rest, then you call on, if it's police work, you call on police. So, but to go on and create a new structure at the emergency command center, that place, it's a no. Citizens have to rise up against this illegality. I think this is the time that we should call on His Excellency the President. We are begging him. He should kindly implement the recommendations of the Ayawasu West Wogon Commission report. I mean, we don't need this. But you're going to create this amorphous illegal body at the ministry there, a detention center that is not known to the law. I mean, with the height of impunity in the premises there, you find that Azugu station is at one end, and then there is the emergency command center. It's also another business. You see, so sometimes you find Azugu, sometimes you move from the center to come to the ECG, the ECC. You see. So now it means that the structures are even growing. So it's not just the SWAT team. You find the SWAT team at one end. And now there's an ECC, which is also operating itself. So it means that we are adding on to even what happened at the Ayawasu West Commission system. We are adding on to it. At that time, they didn't know this ECC. I presume that maybe they didn't exist. So now we've added, because the building is fresh.
Wow.
The building is fresh. Please, we can't allow this to happen. I mean, this is not the kind of country that we all dream for ourselves.
A joint task force has been set up to ensure compliance with existing transport fares despite increment in fuel prices. This will be enforced while the leadership of the road transport operators continues ongoing engagement with government to determine new fares following the introduction of new taxes on petroleum products. Though there's no law barring businesses from adjusting their prices to reflect the cost of inputs, there's been an established convention where transport operators consult government over any plan for fare adjustments once prices of fuel, spare parts and other inputs change. There's more in the following report.
The task force is made up of personnel from the Ghana Road Transport Coordinating Council and the Ghana Private Road Transport Union GPRT, among others. They will be working in collaboration with the security agencies to tour various bus terminals countrywide to ensure compliance with existing transport fares. The formation of the task force follows the recent announcement of a 20% increment in transport fares by some commercial road transport operators, including the Truth Drivers Union, Concerned Drivers Association, and others. The group claims the move is without recourse to the law and laid down principles. Government and the unions and other recognized road transport operators have described the move as illegal, urging the general public to disregard the purported increase in transport fares since they are still at the negotiation table to determine new transport fares that will be acceptable to all. The statement issued by the task force also urged all metropolitan municipal district administrations to ensure strict compliance with the existing fares. The task force will visit the various terminals to check compliance with this directive.
Residents of Bantama, a community in the Senate West District of the Mono East region, are living in fear of increased robbery attacks in the area, with the latest being an attack leading to the death of the former headmaster of the Bantama SDA Primary School. They attribute the increasing number of robberies in the area to the poor state of the Atebubu Kwame Danso Road and the lack of adequate security personnel on the stretch, and have called for immediate measures to be taken to help prevent future attacks. Joint News' Anas Sabit visited the community and came through with the following report.
In relation to a recent armed robbery attack that led to the death of the former head teacher of the Bantama SDA Primary School in the Senate West District of the Mono East region, residents say they are currently living in a state of fear as they recount the increasing number of armed robbery attacks on the Atebubu Kwame Danso Road. Stephen Ado is one of the residents here.
I am First one, a policeman. Second one,
this is the third incident in recent times. The first was a policeman. Then a tanker driver and his mate were both killed instantly, and this one too. So anytime there is a robbery here, they go ahead to kill one of their victims.
In fact,
this particular one is worst amongst all. Now you hardly see people on this road beyond 6 p.m. It's more or less like a curfew because we sleep as early as 9:30 for fear of what just happened.
Because of the accident,
normally you see motorbikes passing by after 6 p.m. And because of this incident, you hardly see them pass after 6. So you can see that what happened has really shocked us. They say the terrible nature of the road is a contributing factor to the increasing number of robberies within the Bantama area.
I work in
Kwame Danso, but have not been able to go within the past few days. You could see everyone is afraid. The road is terrible, and so users of bicycles and motorbikes are all afraid. The situation would have been better if the road is good, so we are all terrified now. But how is the security situation of this area? Residents say there are fewer police personnel on the Atebubu Kwame Danso stretch. Ababu Foster says the situation is very bad.
Very bad, 10% out of 100.
I would say the security situation is very bad because this is not the first time. When you go further, there is a community called Galadima. A policeman was killed there some time ago, so our security here needs to be improved. For these people here, their simple plea is to have this poor road fixed, as well as improve the number of police personnel in the area.
Police station they be after DC na ya almost see omo down 1 mile away.
We do not have a police station here. A new one has been built at Lalai, which is a mile away from here. So we are pleading to those in authority to come to our aid, because if the road is good, the situation would have been better. Until something urgent is being done about the plight of the people here, only God knows who will be the next victim to these armed robbery attacks. Reporting for Joy News, Anas Sabit, Bantama, Senate West District.
So we're taking a quick break here on Joy News Prime, and then Charles Aite will be back with more business news. Stay tuned in.
And welcome to Business. I'm Charles Aite. One of many calls to action climaxing this year's edition of the Ghana CEO Summit is the need for the Digital Economy Act. According to the CEO of Chief Executives Network Ghana and founder of the summit, Ernest de Grattajere, the act is impressive in streamlining government policies focused on digitalization. Here's a wrap of the event put together by my colleague Bismarck Awusa.
The two-day event brought together CEOs, business leaders and captains of industry to deliberate on redefining digital business transformation as an engine of future value for the organizations and society. The 2021 theme, Digital Transformation, Powering Business and Government Research for a Post-Pandemic Economic Resilience, a public-private sector dialogue, made the case for a great reset of Ghana's economy to make it digitally resilient. Founder of the Ghana CEO Summit, Ernest de Grattajere, in an interview with Joy Business, indicated that the Digital Economy Act will help sanitize the country's digital ecosystem.
Our neighbors, Togo, have started strongly, and they have the whole Ministry of Digital Economy. And over the world, in Europe and elsewhere, digitalization and the digital economy, which is the future, has or are being given all the attention that it needed. And as Ghana CEO Summit, the agenda we set is to spearhead and push governments. Anything that will help private sector to thrive is what we push to make it happen.
Minister for Communications and Digitalization, Esla Owusu-Ekufo, says government is currently developing a digital economy policy.
It's in the formative stages. We've engaged consultants who are working on it. Questionnaires have been sent out to people to participate. If you're interested in participating, drop off your ideas with the Chief Director of the Ministry of Communications, and she'll forward it to the consultants. So once we have a draft, we will subject it to extensive stakeholder consultation and then have media engagements on that. We can't just digitize without having a plan or a policy or a strategy. So far, we've been doing so. We know what we want to do, but we need to have clear timelines and deliverables.
Director General of the State Interest and Governance Authority, Stephen Asamoah Boateng, during the panel discussion, indicated that his outfit is working to reduce the bureaucracy in public institutions.
Indeed, the perception is there, and to some extent, you will find evidence that there is some bureaucracy which it's not acceptable in some respects in the public space or the public sector entities, and that sometimes impact negatively on the private sector businesses that goes around and help us to move the economy. And so, yes.
Economist Professor Eric Osei-Sibe, on his part, urged government to improve its tax collection system in order to ensure compliance.
Government obviously has to be more radical in terms of collecting taxes, but the focus should not only be on raising taxes. If you ask me, it should be more or less be on base broadening the tax base, ensuring that the payers actually comply with the tax system, improving the tax administration and collection system, making it more efficient, and to me, more importantly, closing the loopholes.
Other distinguished guests took turns to churn out solutions for post-pandemic economic recovery. Meanwhile, the Chief Executives Network Ghana says it will ensure that recommendations made at the summit are aligned to government policies. Bismarck Awusa's report for Joy Business.
Now, the Minister of Food and Agriculture will support from the Ghana Global Affairs Canada, has supported 18 women groups from 5 different districts in the Bono East region with 56 minute rice harvesters as part of measures taken to boost local rice production in the area. Now, the move, according to the Regional Director of Agriculture, Cecilia Kenya Ajiman, would help attract more women into the sector, as well as reduce the use of children on rice farms during harvest seasons. My colleague Anasabit has more in this report.
Over the years, a myriad of agronomic challenges have hampered efforts made towards achieving high yields in rice production across the country. These challenges include soil nutrient depletion, impacts of climate change, post-harvest losses amongst others. In the Bono East region, rice farmers lose a lot due to the high cost of production. During harvest seasons, farmers rely a lot on family and friends as a source of labor to avoid losses. Though child labor is prohibited by Ghana's laws, these farmers use their school-going children on their farms due to the lack of harvesters to aid their work. Sawa Gloria is a rice farmer in Palombo No. 1, a suburb of Yeji in the Pro East district. Because our lives solely depends on rice production, the children will have to stop going to school during harvest seasons to join us on the farms in order to prevent the rice from going waste. To help address this and aid rice production in the area, the Ministry of Food and Agriculture, with support from the Global Affairs Canada, is supporting 18 women groups in rice production from 5 districts with 56 mini rice harvesters. Regional Director at the Ministry of Food and Agriculture, Madam Cecilia Keja, says the move will help improve rice production in the area.
There's a lot of drudgery associated with rice production, particularly at the harvesting stage. Our farmers tend to have a lot of challenges, and therefore the Ministry of Agriculture, in collaboration or in conjunction with the Global Affairs Canada, sought twice to really intervene with this equipment. Yes, to enable them harvest rice with ease, and then also to allow our children to always be in school.
Bono East Regional Minister Mr. Kwesi Edujan, during the handing over of the equipment, expressed worry at the losses rice farmers go through during harvest and asked that the region is aiming at being the preferred destination for agro-based industries.
As you are aware, Bono East region stands to be the breadbasket of the country. Okay. We also want to make the region the preferred destination for agro-based industries. Okay. We can do this only by supporting small farmers like this and also embarking on commercial agriculture, block farming, so that we'll be able to produce enough.
Mr. Dijan again urged Ghanaians to patronize locally grown food crops to help improve the local economy.
I encourage Ghanaians to consume made in Ghana rice and other made in Ghana produce from the agriculture sector, because not only does it provide food, but it also improves the standard of living, it creates jobs, and it does a lot of things that strengthens the economy of our region.
Sewa Gloria, however, appealed for more support to local farmers by providing more technological equipment to aid production. We still need a lot. We need planting tools. We need equipment that would ease our work in general, like tractors. We'll be happy if we get some. Reporting for Joy News, Anas Sabit, Tichima.
Now, this week is International Coaching Week, and it forms part of efforts to improve on human resource around the world. Here in Ghana, a group is assisting in free professional coaching sessions for young professionals. I engaged the Association of Coaching Practitioners, and here's more. In the meantime, let's update you on all international business news making the headlines. that's how we end business. My name is Charles Aite. Sports is up next this day.
And it's time to bring you the second installment of sports here on Joy News Prime. And the annual Sheikh Shaributu Ramadan Cup has been increased from 16 Zongo communities to 24. The teams have been paired against each other for the initial round of the competition, which will be played for the first time in 2 days at the newly constructed AstroTurf at New Fadama between May 22nd and 23rd. Team Cowlin are hopeful of clinching the ultimate.
Sunny day here at the Wembley Sports Complex, where we are here to preview yet another team ahead of the 6th Sheikh Shaributu Ramadan Cup 2021. We've brought to you some of the scenes from across Accra already, and today we are here to check out Cowling. Chief, please introduce yourself.
Please, I'm Van Hamed. I'm representing Cowling, the team manager at the center and the coach.
Fantastic. Now, Cowling are one of the key teams in the Ramadan Cup this year. They've got a lot of good players. You'll be introducing them when you see some of the shots as well. But this is the captain of the side, boss.
Yeah, I'm Prince. Yeah, I'm Prince and I'm leading the Cowling team.
Nice one. How ready are you guys? Let me start with Ivan.
I'm ever ready. Okay, this is the first time that we are participating. Previously, because of one or two things, we couldn't participate. But this time we are fully ready, you understand? So we are coming with full guns. We are not just participating, we are just coming to make our name for ourselves, you understand?
Yeah.
So everybody will feel it.
We previously interviewed some of the teams, and for example, Ashaiman, who are two-time champions, say they are here to reclaim their lost glory because for the past 4 years they've not won. This is a team that is coming for the first time. Capito, I beg, you'll be lifting the trophy on Sunday, eh?
Not really sure. We are not coming there to brag. We are coming there to show our talent, and then we will take it game by game. So hopefully on Saturday we'll see what we bring back.
Okay, so this is where you guys trade. I mean, how many more are we expecting you to bring? Some supporters to the place?
Inshallah, we bring some few supporters. You understand? It's a holiday, so we have to make our neighbors and everybody know that we are traveling somewhere. So everybody should be behind the team. You understand? So I will need their support in everything that we do. You need support. If you have support, you have full figure in everything that you want to do.
Finally, message to the people who are going to support. You know, Cowling has produced a lot of national team stars in the past, so you have massive support. People, a lot of big people come from there as well. Please give them a message.
Okay, what we tell them, we need their support. They should just come around and then give us the support. We need the support more than everything on the weekend, so we'll be looking up to them.
Fantastic. So the venue is the new Fadama Park. These days, the official name is the Sheikh Shaributu Park as well. That's what it's been renamed to be called. And we are expecting a huge atmosphere there because the Chief Imam himself will be there to do the ceremonial kickoff for the final. Remember, on Saturday we have the first group matches. Cowling will be there together with 11 other teams from the predominantly Muslim communities and Zongos from across the country. It's going to be a great tournament and we'll be there to cover it.
And that's it for sports, but quick reminder, do join Gary Al-Smith later at 9 p.m. on PM Express as he and some of the top European football journalists, review the European football season and also preview what is ahead. The European champions, of course, will be live on all the multimedia channels. In the meantime, though, myjoyonline.com/sports is where you have to be for the latest from the world of sports. My name is Hans Mensah Ando.
All right, and before we wrap up the bulletin, Archbishop Portugal says HS has joined the likes of Presec, Legon and Infantsipim School as title holders of the Science and Maths Quiz Regional Championship. They beat the host school and 2012 winners of the NSMQ Ghana Secondary Technical School, St. John's School, and 6 others to the trophy. After 4 rounds of heated contests, it was the last question that determined Archbishop Portugal's new status as Western Zonal champions. Maxwell Ogwa has been interacting with them.
Portugals. They are the Western Region and Western North regional champions. Congratulations, girls. What is the feeling like? Let me start with you.
The coordinator.
Like?
Oh,
Matthew.
I'm very, very excited today. Like I told you, the regional contest is not our portion. So we are very, very excited today.
Thank you. Let me speak to Maxima and then the other contestants. Where is Maxima? Maxima. Okay, so Maxima is also the head girl.
Yeah. For the first contest with GSTS, we made sure we weren't intimidated by the boys. First of all, our magic was God. And second of all, our coach mentored us very well and made us understand that we are no different from the boys. And we can do equally and even better than the boys. So that was what motivated us. We calmed our nerves down and we were able to do well in the contest.
What should we expect in the nationals?
Well, from this, I think this is the start. This is not the end, it's just the beginning.
Expect the best. We are with God and we know with God, victory is on our side.
Congratulations once again. You won the maiden edition. This is big. You beat GSTS, St. John's and other schools. The school song, let's go. Let's do it.
Right, so that's it for the bulletin. But up next, there's a special PM Express Sports Edition with Gary Al Smith. It's promising to be a very exciting show, so you'd want to stay tuned in for that. That comes up right after the bulletin. My name is Israelite. Thank you very much for watching. Have a good night.